ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this. I have already cracked Davia Andrews up like 4 times before we even got on the air. She's either very nervous, right, or I'm really funny. We'll probably just go with really nervous, but I'm good with that. But as we were saying before we started, like when I look at your name, when I saw your name, I initially thought Davia. It's just because for some reason, I think it should be avian, like as an avian, like that's what it is when you look at the eye. But for some reason, Avia just sounds prettier. I'm not sure why. It just does. It's one of those phonetic things. It's just like avian. Okay, Avia. Wait, that sounds like nicer somehow, some way. I don't know. And again, maybe I'm just obnoxiously being silly about this, but maybe that is why people get your name wrong. The reason why they get my name wrong is you can see for yourself.
Yeah, I've gotten that a lot. A lot of people think like Davia sounds better, so they just call me Davia all the time.
Yeah, and you're like, but that's not my name. Stop it. Just stop it. And it's
No.
Davia. No. You will not call me Davia. It's Davia. It's my name, damn it. No, I totally get that. No, I understand that. Like that. I just think it's the natural impulse when you first see it, and it's not. I'm pretty sure at this point in your life you don't take it personally, but if you do, I'm sorry.
I don't. I'm so used to it. I'm like, it's fine.
So let's see. My last name, as you can see, is quite obnoxiously long, right? So
I'm not even gonna attempt it.
So it's Pantelleresco, right? Pantelleresco. It's Maltese. Some Italian got into Malta, and here I am. That's the short version of that, right? But the long version, is like I've heard all kinds of names. Like there's Pants to the Rescue. My personal favorite, Rob McLean, grade 6. When we were doing a VIP program, we tried to say my name, Josh Pentella, Josh Alphabet. Everyone knew who it was.
Oh, that is my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a good one, right? That's a good one.
That is good.
But not phonetically though. I whereabouts do you live? You don't mind my asking? Like what? It's Canada States.
I'm in Georgia.
You're in Georgia? Okay, so we had a phone up here called Cantel Amigo. Pantelleresco and Cantel. I did pop for that the first time I heard that because it was creative. Like you get Pants to the Rescue so many, or Josh Pants, or all this other stuff so long that as a general rule of thumb, right? You're just like, if you're gonna screw up my name, at least do something.
Make it interesting.
Interesting. I get it. Like I'm not mad at it. I just I get it, right? But it's just like, okay, so yeah, and that's also why it's my real name. I don't think I'll ever use. That's right. That's what Go Indie now would tell you. Like that's what he had to do. Right. That's what he had to do. That's what he had to do to make that work. But it is how it goes. So, no, but that's the thing, right? You have these, we all have our own quirks. Like I never you have a name, you just go D.A. Andrews instead of, I can just imagine, Davia, I could just imagine that, just doing an autograph signing all the time. What's your name? Is it Davia? It would probably just drive you nuts. After a while,
it would drive you nuts.
Yeah. So it's like local author chokes out fan over mispronouncing. Carted away. Davia, my name is Davia. Right. So that's why you're DA.
And some Jamaican expletives will come out of it, and then it's just gonna be one big scene, and we're just
now you're gonna teach me how to swear in Jamaican. This is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna learn an 8th language. I can swear in 7. What?
It's super easy. It's very easy.
It's super easy. Okay, cool. Because I can swear in 7 languages.
Oh, nice. I can probably swear in 3.
So when you go meet different cultures, food and swearing, you get along with everybody that way. Because here's what happens, right? Everybody gets this dirty, impish look on their face. Okay, this is a really bad word, but it's awesome. So this is what they say, right? Now, and I am cheating a little bit. Maltese is also apparently Israeli and Arabic as well, and I know this because I actually just says. So in your culture, does shamak mean what it means in Maltese? They just look in their eyes. Oh, yeah, bad. It's really bad. It's okay, cool.
Now I
So
want to know what it means.
the literal translation is the world's pussy. Fuck the world's pussy. That's the literal
I love
translation.
that.
Yeah, right. That's literally it's fuck the world basically. But I
Oh
mean
my
that.
God,
But
that's
the
perfect.
yeah, it's one of those things where you just like so. See, my grandmother, bless her heart, she's gonna hate this when she ever listens to this episode. My Maltese grandmother, she swears like a sailor, and you can tell when like Arabic languages, you can tell when people swear. You just can tell. There's no, you can hear it. Like it almost sounds like concrete is getting ripped out of the road. Like that's how like potent an Arabic curse is. Like it's like it's that strong. You like even when I was a little kid, I didn't know what that meant, right?
You
Right?
just
I
knew it was
didn't know,
bad.
but you knew it. Like you just could hear it. Like you just knew, right? It's like
That's kind
you
of
don't
like
know. It's like
Jamaican curse word.
I do,
Oh my God.
right? So it's like no, it's a bad one. See, and like I said, we just bonded, right? I taught you a naughty swear word, and you're like, cool. Now you can swear in 4. Actually, now technically 6 languages you can swear now in the Middle East, and you can swear in Israel too. And they're gonna be
Oh my
like,
God. I need
you
to
see,
put this
just
on like my resume or something.
that's right. It's like a skill, right? Total skill. I can now swear in 6 languages. So when you come out of this podcast, what happened? I learned how to talk even dirtier. He's an evil, evil man.
Perfect.
Yeah, see, there you go. You got something out of this already. So you gotta
Love
teach us you gotta teach us a Jamaican swear word now.
Oh, let's see what's the best one for. Okay, so the worst one you can ever say in Jamaica is "suck your mother."
Suck him out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what
And
does that
it's
mean?
literally like "go suck your mother,"
Yeah.
and that's the worst. It's the worst thing you can say because like, if you say that to somebody, like I guarantee that they're gonna like start a fight with you, and it's just gonna be horrible.
So in the Middle East, it's your sister. It's not about your mom. It's about your sister. If you
Ah,
tell somebody is someone's sister off, they'll tell you can say what you want about the mom. You say something about their sister, they'll beat the shit out of you. Right?
exactly. That's how it is in Jamaica with your mom. Just don't talk about anyone's mom in Jamaica.
It's like better not talk about my mama because I'll just knock you on you. Like, yeah, right. It's like about my mom. Don't mess with my mom. What did she ever do to you? Right?
Exactly.
Right? I'm the asshole. Make me. I can take it. And like there's lines here, right? You know, there's total lines, right? So no, I get it. Like there's just like cultures are different things. In Vietnam, it's about being mentally unstable and crazy. Every
Mm.
culture is different. That's a cool thing. Like that's the benefit of learning how to swear, like in their languages, because you learn what's profane to them, and you learn what's profane to them. You actually have an understanding of what a culture values.
That's
Oddly
so
enough.
interesting to me.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it, right?
Mhm.
And then food, and you look at their food, you can look at like food is medicine. I mean, for all the wonderful bullshit we say,
Mhm.
and the Western diet is definitely not a good example of medicine. We're not going to do that conversation
No.
today, but historically speaking, you can look at food and what was it's the building blocks of how we function.
Mhm.
So you can look at culture's food, how they prep it, like what's around them. Some of it is just local taste, but for us, some of it is legitimate protection against the elements.
Right.
And even to this day, modern medicine still can't match some of the things like food can do. Like in India, our antibiotics don't even come close to their diet or the
Thank
way
God,
they like,
yes.
right? It doesn't even come
Mhm.
close. So it's one of those things where you just look at like again these like these little things people take for granted that are right under their nose, and and that's it. Like that's how you learn. Like you learn more about a person by the things they do, what they value, like how they talk, value,
Mhm.
than you can learn any other way. It's just about being observant to what you see. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's like when I moved here, it was like a complete culture shock. Like I was like, everyone's going to the doctor for everything, and in Jamaica, we just like slap some Vicks on it, and drink some ginger tea, and that's it. We're set. Like it's just completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, culture race, right?
Mhm.
Like most cultures, the last place you want to go to is a doctor.
Mhm.
In the United States, probably is still the last place you want to go to, right? But again, different cultures, different values,
Mhm.
and different beliefs. You
Right.
just have to be understand where they come from. You understand a culture, and you understand a people better,
Mhm.
a little bit better, anyway. And then from there, you just again, you'll find some things that can work from every culture, some things that don't work from every culture.
Okay.
Burley, you know what? You know what? I don't like this part of it. I ain't doing it. Screw it. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I've amused the heck out of you so far. You've already told me a little bit about yourself just based on this little conversation. You are from Jamaica. You came to the United States,
Mhm.
and then you became like a punk rock superstar author, right? That's your
Exactly.
life. Yeah, that's your life story.
That's my life story. That's about it.
Oh, nothing interesting at all about that. So yeah,
I'm very boring.
yeah, sure you are. No one's boring. Everybody's got a story and a good one too. So when did you come to the States?
I was 21, I believe. I'm really horrible at math, so that's another thing about me. I moved here in 2015. I moved to Atlanta, and then I eventually moved to the southeast coast of Georgia. Um, it's like completely different from Jamaica in a lot of ways, but in some ways it's kind of similar, like where I am now. Um, there's the beach and all that. I love that about it. But that's it. I got up and I moved here and I started working in the hospitality industry, and I've been in the hospitality industry ever since. And I kind of started writing and taking it more seriously, and now here I am.
Now here you're in. Unbelievable rock star. No. Before we get to that point, hey, listen, you might as well go shoot for the moon. I look at it like this, honest to God, you believe in yourself enough to tell a story.
Right.
You might as well believe in yourself and see how far it can carry you. Because you deserve to find out, if for nothing else, to see how far you can go.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's exactly how I want to live my life. I just keep going and shooting for all my dreams and everything.
Okay, so let's get. I know I promised to make you laugh, and I promise I will come up with many terrible jokes.
Okay.
Ask Joe, who's in the background here. He'll tell you I am very good at the terrible jokes. But what I would say is, it sounds to me like. So why did you leave Jamaica?
So I got a job offer in Atlanta, and ever since I was little, I've always felt like my life was not really meant just for Jamaica. I wanted so many other things that I couldn't get there, you know? And Jamaica isn't very mentally health inclined, I should say. Uh, so I had always visited Atlanta. My aunt is like lives there, so I decided to like start applying for jobs there and everything, and I got it, and then got my sponsorship, came over, fell in love with Georgia, and the rest is history.
And you're here,
Mm-hmm.
and you're happy. You sound like you're very happy where you're at
Oh
now.
my god, I am.
So,
I feel a lot freer, a lot more like myself. You know that feeling you get like when you visit places and you're like, oh my god, this is home. That's how I get here.
actually, I'll let you know a little secret. I have never fully felt that way.
Really?
So I have and I grew up. I'll let you in. So I was born in a place called Oshawa, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Windsor, Ontario, Detroit, Michigan, Phoenix, Arizona, Calgary, Alberta. I'm currently in Canmore, Alberta. I lived in lots of little towns. I am literally a wanderer, like by my very nature. Like if you were to, like, the one thing about me, I can tell you who I am, what I want, like how I want to, if I'm happy, all that stuff. I can't tell you where I'm going. And yeah, right. That's the question
that.
I don't have an answer to in my life, and I've been searching for that. I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm readier to kind of settle down and kind of find a place that's kind of mine, but at the same time, it's how to put this. I'm in a really weird comfort spot in a sense, in weird jello, where it's just like right this minute, it just makes sense for me to go with the flow, and I've just been going with the flow. Right? I haven't tried to. I haven't tried. Like, there are things I want in my personal life, like I would like a relationship. I would like, maybe like a studio space so I can actually make this podcast look even more professional and stuff. But I'm also in that weird jello point where it's just like I realize it's a process, and I'm not fighting that process. I'm actually being very patient with that process. It's gonna come, and again, this might be the dumbest thing in the back of my head, but it's just like I
Now
have
you're
this really crazy psyche it's going to work out. And so I just ride it and kind of just do it. And I'm not worried. That doesn't mean I don't have problems. We all
you're
do.
trusting
But
in the universe, basically.
yeah, just at this
That's
moment
the
in my
way I
life,
like to see it.
well, yeah, like it's just like sometimes there are moments in your life where you grasp destiny.
Mhm.
There's moments in life where you literally can grasp your destiny. But there are moments in your life too where it's just like you can just kind of get this feeling that it's not time to. It's not necessarily a time to be urgent.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I've been for the last few months. Like when I came back out here, it was just like I had a feeling that something. Again, it's one of those weird like things. I can do the most good here. That's why I'm back here. And I am doing the most good. I'm helping people. I'm helping all kinds of people in all kinds of different ways. But also, it's you've seen what I don't know if you probably seen some of what's going on in Canada right now. We're going through a major
Oh no,
like
I heard about it. Yes.
yeah. So we're going through a major transition, growth
Mhm.
spurt, change,
Mhm.
and the fact of the matter is, in this where I kind of feel like uniquely I'm suited. A lot of the fears, a lot of people and uncertainties people have right now, I've dealt with at a younger age. I have a
Mhm.
very unique position on everything going on because of my own personal apocalypses. So I mean, it's just like it
I love
sounds funny but true. But like you go through certain upheavals, you go through
that. Mhm.
certain things. You don't get rattled the same way. You just become very. It's part of life. Like you know what I mean. Not like in
There
this
you go
like.
with the flow.
Yeah. Well, no, just like. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Things happen, and I do let myself feel sad, angry, upset. I let myself feel those things, but then
Mhm.
it's like, okay, big boy pants. What can you do about it? Right?
Yeah, there's
And
this. I kind of like have the same stance on life. There's something I don't remember where I read it or heard it or something, but it's basically to embrace life with like palms wide open. So whatever needs to fall through the fingers can fall through the fingers. Whatever lands in the middle of your palm, it does. Just go through life with your palms wide open. And I love that stance. It's kind of like similar what you're saying.
yeah, well, yeah, but also most people forget also the palm
Yeah,
is harder than the fist too.
I love it.
Yeah, it's harder than the fist, right? So the thing is, it's one of those situations where I've had those moments where I've tried to be in control,
Mhm.
and those are the moments when I'm
God,
not
yes.
in. Right. Those are the moments where I'm in the least control. And then there are moments where I just let things kind of come to me. And ironically, I have more say in what comes to me. Right. Because I don't have to say yes. Like life is a negotiation. Right. Life is a negotiation. And most people don't think of it like that, but it is. You choose what you allow in your life and you choose what you don't. And you can make decisions accordingly. I'll give you an example. Right. Like I went to I grabbed some sushi. I went to a sushi Korean place the other day. Server, right? um, really got taken by me, but she's also significantly younger than me. So
Mhm.
I was flattered, right? But at the same time, it was like you're just a little too young. Like
Mhm.
just and then just get like what you're looking for, what I'm looking for in a relationship. It's like it wouldn't work. We'd
Mhm.
have fun a little bit, but I think in the end, one of us would hurt the other. It's like that. This is no. I could have chosen to have fun, but I
Mhm.
also could have chosen not like I could have chosen to. And again, there's no crime in either choice. It's
Right.
just understanding. It's understanding like I can say yes, I can say no. And whether you're writing, whether you're like your career, whether it's what happens out here
Mhm.
at the end of the day really doesn't matter. And that's going to sound like a really weird thing. It's like what happens out in the world's going to do its damn thing. It's going to be up and down. My country's batshit insane right now, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it. It
Mhm.
has lost its goddamn mind.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
So I could be, oh my god, we can panic and the world is gonna end. And don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
I know things are going to change. There's
Mhm.
no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Now, how long these things changes happen, we'll see. What are these changes gonna happen? I don't know. We'll see. Will there be a moment I might have to be urgent? Maybe.
We'll
That's
see.
not right. Right. But again, I'm not detached from the world that I'm not aware of what's going on in it,
Right.
but I'm also not so caught up in it that I'm going to necessarily worry,
Mm-hmm.
right? That tomorrow might be the end of the world. What if it is? What am I going to do about it?
Exactly. There's nothing you
Right?
can change.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I might as well just keep doing my thing then. I mean, what's the point, right? Right? I
Exactly.
can feel so. You accept the things, you can have the serenity to accept what you can't control, and when you do that, you actually have more say in what you do. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a really weird thing I've noticed. Whereas if you try to fight it, that's when you get all this resistance and you can't do this and you can't do that. And there's sometimes a point you have to do this. There are
Mm-hmm.
points in your life where you got to make those stands. But for the most part, it's like, so seriously, I could just and I think about this, like I could just like go with this and see if
Mm-hmm.
I can get what I want out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my day job a few years back taught me this lesson. They had a very flexible schedule. But instead of being a slave to the schedule of the company, because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to write and do what I'm doing, I made it a point to make my work kind of my bitch, and it was so I could do what I wanted to do. But when I was there, I did what I was told. I didn't ask questions. I just basically did my job to the best of my abilities, and it gave me the freedom when it was over to pretty much do what I want. One of my bosses actually said to me, "You actually did something very few people do in a place like this. You made it work for you, not you work for us." And very few people do that. Yeah, and that's it. Like that's and again, it's something I learned 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's like I can fight so hard. Or okay, what can I control here? What and the basic thing is we say yes or we say no.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm simplifying this a little bit, but that's what like yes, I want this kind of thing in my life. No, I don't want this thing in my life. Right? That's it. Like it sounds simplistic as all fuck.
Yeah, you made it sound so easy because I've battled with control for years and I was like, I have to be in control of every single thing in my life. And I think just this past year, I was like, I'm just gonna go with the flow one day at a time. And I've started saying like I'm just gonna embrace the tempest of life. Because it's that's what it is. It's like a fucking tempest, and I was just gonna embrace it and just go with the flow.
You've had more say now since you've done that now, haven't
Yeah,
you?
I have
Yeah, you have a lot more say, right?
a
It's
lot
how
more.
it works. It's how it works, you right? Like the hurricane. You try to fight the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
It's work.
Oh my god, it's exhausting.
I'm too old for that shit.
Exactly.
You're too old for that. You're too old for that shit. I'm way too old for that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, it's something. It's not. It's simple, not easy. I think the difference, like easy is the path of least resistance.
Right.
Simple is understanding the basic idea. That's hard. That's really, really,
Oh my
really
god, it
hard.
took me forever to get that, to just say, oh, I can say like, no, I don't want this person in my life. Like in my mind, I was like, for years, no, what if they're, going through a hard time? Just I had to control every single aspect. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, no, like why am I thinking about like other people's issues? What about my own? Like what about my own life and my own journey,
And well, again, that's just it. And the best part is, you actually get to be oddly more caring. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's a weird thing.
It's very ironic.
Well, no, because I saw a Facebook post today,
Mhm.
and a friend of mine is really upset that someone's really struggling with their diet choices, and she's upset from a distance what they're doing to them.
Mhm.
And she's probably right. Like I'm not even going to dispute like where she's coming from, but also at the same time, I realized something very important. Do you love that person? Well, yes, I do. Then you got to trust them to figure it out.
Yeah.
If they need your help, they're going to ask. That one I still struggle with because sometimes I just want to jump in and be that. Yeah, I still want to do that. I still struggle with that one sometimes. But the truth of the matter is, because it's so obvious and I can see it's like, why can't you see it? Right? But what I realize is if I really love somebody, if I really care about someone, I'm going to have to trust that they're going to figure this out on their own.
Mhm.
And if they can't, they're going to ask me for help. By ironically leaving them be to do this, I'm actually placing more faith in them, not less. And it's because now I'm trusting that they can figure it out. And even if they don't,
Mhm.
I still love them. That is a very it seems detached, but what you're really actually doing is you're giving your friends and more importantly yourself the space
To
to be
just
able
be
to
figure things out.
yeah, that's it. And we all need that. Like I don't know about you, I am a royal fuck up 101 right here.
Oh my god, yes. 100% I am.
Fuck ups. Cheers to being mutual fuck ups. I have a drink. I don't have a drink with me right now. It's like yeah, but that's it, right? Like we all make mistakes, and this is something again later in life. I'm sure I'm going to pay for this a little bit, but hopefully not as much as I again gotten older and wiser. We're so judgmental when we're young because we think we know how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day you just realize that you don't have a fucking clue. Like
I just said this yesterday. I literally just said that yesterday. Like, I don't even know what the hell like I'm doing. Like, I feel like it's a big simulation, and I have no clue what's going on, like at all.
yeah. Hello, I guess. I don't know if that's a real person or not. So hello, I will say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, gonna hide that one too. Yeah, hello. How you guys doing? I don't know if I get the real N. We'll just call you Mr. Real N. But no, like it's just one. I think we just got raided. Yeah, I think we just got raided. It's all cool. But anyway, let's keep talking. Keep doing it. Like the thing is, like we have a tendency when we actually like we have to acknowledge our mistakes, and looking back, there are things I wish I had done differently. At the same token, I wouldn't be who I am if I hadn't made those mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. But I also know that if I do have kids someday, right? If I do have kids someday, oh man, I'm going to be like, they're going to be me. And that's going to be God's revenge. It's like, hey, remember all the stuff you did? Here you go. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the answer to your question, my friend, we're just talking about stuff. Whatever comes up. Life in general. So that's me. Like coming to terms about what what is like right or wrong or how the world works. I just realized that I don't really need to worry about that.
Yeah, you won't ever really know.
Yeah.
Something, or you won't ever really know about life until I don't think you're ever going to really figure out about like all the major lessons in life or why life is the way it is. Like I keep telling myself just one day at a time. That's all I keep telling myself.
Well, I'll give you my big thought for why life is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you my big thought, and we'll see if you agree or disagree.
Okay.
See, life is change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do believe in God. I don't know if you believe in God, and that's fine. If you don't, that's cool. I'm not here to harp on that. On that. Believe or you'll be no. But what I'm going to tell you is, I realize that like, why is the world not perfect?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked that question once, and I had this really big thought. Well, none of us are perfect. All of us have flaws, but all of us can change. And I think this is the reason why the world is the way it is because, yes, it's flawed, it's unfair. And at its cruelest, at its absolute cruelest, terrible things can happen to people without ever, like, being fair or a reason.
Yeah.
That's the truly terrifying part of the world. But on the flip side, tomorrow you could be a millionaire. Like, you literally could. Like, it could just the right circumstances could present themselves, and you could be a millionaire tomorrow. The next day, you could literally, somehow end up on the moon. I mean, the world is such a wild and wacky enough place that anything can happen and anything is possible, that life has changed. So the reason the world is the way it is, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. And what I mean by progress is it's about moving forward, and stumbling and tripping and falling and occasionally not sure where up and down actually is and get lost. It doesn't matter. Inevitably speaking, we feel like we move in a direction and we go forward. Not all the lessons here are for us. Not all the lessons here are made for us. But the lessons we do learn, the lesson we have is an opportunity to change and grow and become a better than what we were before. Sometimes, and we keep growing. And the older we get, the harder it is to grow and change and evolve, because we know everything, and then we start yelling at clouds. We start yelling.
You see, I have a hard time like really grasping that, because I want to strive for perfection at all times, and that's my issue. Like I have OCD, so like living with OCD, it's so rough, because I just want every single thing to be perfect at all times, and like life isn't like that. Like it's not perfect.
No,
you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not perfect. I just can't wrap my mind around that right now. That's why like I have my therapist on speed dial. Because
so do you want me to give you a really like I'm going to add to that little bit of profoundness then.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen salt in a microscope?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen sea salt to table salt?
No, I don't think I've ever compared them.
Okay, so if you look at like typical table salt, it is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You look at it, the crystals are perfect, they're perfectly square, they are perfect mechanical things. Mm-hmm. But if you look at sea salt, this little black flecks, stuff's uneven. It's all just that. Your OCD would look at sea salt and die.
Yes.
1,000 deaths.
Probably.
Now, here's the thing, though. This is probably going to like I said, your OCD is going to hate this little like revelation. So OCD, I'm sorry, but you'll have to get over it. So here's the thing: that sea salt absorbs into your body better than the table salt does, and the reason it does is because of the flaws. Because if it was perfect, body doesn't take it the same way. It just doesn't absorb it the same way. It's a different salt. Sea salt goes into the body much better, much more efficiently, because it is imperfect.
I need to write this down. You just gave me an idea.
Yeah. We can after the show's done, if you want to go off the air, we can totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I just like very much like that's the thing, right? Like I realized this, like I mentioned the album to Joe yesterday. Some of the best works of art are deliberately imperfect. My show, if you listen again, your OCD would hate my early shows. Like they hate them because we're in restaurants and bars. I did one show literally where I did the 10-minute transition of going from one thing to the other, and there's awkward silence and all that stuff in there. And I kept it in on purpose because it's real, right? Yeah, because it's real, right? We don't live in a perfect world. That doesn't exist. And I mean, now that doesn't. Now again, that push to do the best you can is a worthy goal, because again, there's progress, right? But at the same time, I'm never going to go back and rewrite a piece of work I've done that's published ever, because I can always make it better, but I can get stuck on that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm not saying anything new, right?
Oh my God, it would be.
Yeah, it would be. No, and there would be no change. Like it would be nothing but stillness, and stillness is the equivalent of death. A world without change is a world not worth living in.
You just have all the gems today.
Yeah. Well, I'm older and I'm older and wiser and shit. I've had more time to think about this shit.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, but no, like that's the thing. Like you recognize the fact that, and I recognize this with my art. It's not about. And here's the real noodle breaker. It's not even about being good, right? It's actually just about getting your stuff out there. right? That's the thing, right? Like, it's not the courage you had to actually make the decision to take your writing seriously was a courageous thing, because you actually went out there and you said something that you cared about. And that is awesome. Now, could you have done it better? Look, sure. But who
Probably.
cares, right? You said it. That's what really matters. Now, that
That's
doesn't
always been
mean
like my biggest issues, that I refuse to like speak up and like let my voice be heard. And then I don't know. I think one day I just said like, "Fuck it, here it is."
I heard that no, but again, it's not about being good. It's something I just realized. Like, who cares if you suck? Oh my gosh, that freed me up completely. Now there's like no limit. Now, I'm not saying deliberately stink up the joint. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you don't worry about stinking up the joint. Just worry about being the best you can be at that moment. Because you're not going to care about what you're saying right now like you do right now. Tomorrow, you might still care, but you're not going to care. Like, you weren't going to be like, when you get like that big idea for a novel and you get like really, really excited. Like, say, oh my God, this is so cool. I can't wait. Right? That's like the greatest part of being a creator. That moment is such power.
It's like
right?
a little high.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah, I'm higher than a kite. Let's go fly a kite up to the high. No, I love, and when I write, that's why I'm never going to be a fully like I plot a little bit, but I'm never going to be a full plotter. I love surprise. That gives you a different thrill. That discovery is just so cool. And I like that's part of the reason I do what I do. I don't do things because I do things for really 4 different reasons. It amuses me, it makes me happy, it surprises me. I value surprise so very much. It is such a joy to be surprised. It just really, really is. And the 4th reason is, the very basic reason is, it gives me pleasure, right? And that's it. Like those are the big reasons. Like, it sounds hedonistic, but I mean, really, I'm only here for so much time, and Lord knows life will make me miserable enough if I let it. So I mean, I might as well.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So I mean, do what you love. Like, do what you love, whatever that is. If you want to change the world, go change the world. Don't be a psycho about it. That's right.
Oh, I love that.
That's right. So, and you did that. And so does Joe. Right? So, and you did that. And you have to understand, right? That's the real battle. Everything else, now don't get me wrong, you'll do it better. You will get better at practice. You'll be more pronounced. You'll get your story, like all that stuff. Right? But at the same time, that's part of the process. That's part of the discovery, the journey. The important thing is that you, D.A. Andrews, have stuff to say that's important to you. And you owe it not just to yourself, but to the rest of the world to get it out there, because you, my friend, might one day change the world with what you say and care about. You never know.
You just have to take that first step. You probably just got me through my writer's block for my second book. I've been struggling for like weeks now, and I was like, "What the hell am I doing?"
No, don't. I'm always creating stuff. Like here, I'll show you something. I've been drawing. I've been teaching myself drawing. So here, I don't know. This was when back in my day, but when I was a kid and it was cool. But here is my version of Ryu throwing a very terrible fireball. I'm almost good. Almost good. So back in that, right? I'm working on stuff, and I'm constantly evolving. Now, am I as good as some of the people out there? Hell no. But am I getting better at it? Yeah. Good. That's what matters. It doesn't matter that I'm the greatest in the world. It doesn't matter that I suck. That doesn't no, and that's it, right? It like none of those things are relevant. What do you got to say that you give a shit about? That's what's important. The rest of it, You'll figure it out, right? Now, some people will come to you and go, well, you got to get the right technique and the right this and the right that. And don't get me wrong, learning techniques, always desiring to be better,
right,
is important, but never to the point that it cripples what you're saying. Because if it cripples what you're saying, then what's the fucking point of getting, like, you're not getting better learning these techniques.
I think that's like my biggest issue is that I keep like looking at what the greats have done and everything, and I was like, I think the only thing that like got me through it was to tell myself, well, how am I going to do it? Like, you know, they've already done it. They're in the world with the way their techniques and all of what they're doing. What if I have something new to bring to the table? And I think that was like the major breaking point for me. You know?
But you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's you.
Yep. I have my own unique experience.
That's right. You're only ever going to come around once.
Yep.
That makes you a treasure. It truly does. You're only ever going to come around this life one time. Mm-hmm. So everything you do, everything you say, everything you see. Now, I can depress you. Grand scheme of things, no one's going to remember all the stuff you did. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the depressing thing.
Right.
Here's the not so depressing thing. On the flip side, that gives you the freedom to do anything you want to do and discover what you want to discover and seek what you want to seek. Because in the grand scheme of things, if you fuck up, chances are no one's going to remember what you did. Right? So, yeah, right?
You can write like a little motivational book or journal or something.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could. But I do my motivations on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I do like my motivations. So you want to I get daily motivation. Sometimes they're serious. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. Just for you. Give me a second here. Okay. Give me a second here. I swear I know what I'm doing. Trained motherfucking professional right here.
Got right this.
Yes. Not Twitch. Don't click my link. That's not what I wanted you to do. Why aren't you going to my... Yeah. Okay. Come here. All right. My internet's being poopy. Give me a second here. I'll give it a minute here to stop being so poopy.
You're fine.
Yeah. Basically, here's what I said today. Tuesday motivation. Let's see what he says. Yeah. So here's what I said today. And here's the thing. No matter what it looks like, no matter where you're at, you can always win. You just got to go out there and just show up and do it. And I'm paraphrasing it. I said it much more eloquently this morning when I put it up there. And I give you the link straight up. But yeah, no, like we live in a world. Like I said, we live in a world of possibilities, and we live in a world of, like, you got to remember, like, do you have stuff to offer? Yes. Are you any different? Are you any different than anybody else? You know, in that sense, I mean, no, yes. I mean, it's one of those things where you just got to look at it and go, okay, you know what? I have faith that what I say matters. But I say, like, I have some faith. There you go. Blah, 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 blah. I found it. I finally got it. This is what I said. This is me actually saying my Tuesday motivation. This is for everybody here. Right?
I like that. That's good.
Yes. That's it. The rest of it doesn't matter. So, like, in terms of, like, tell the story the best you can. Fix it later. Did you ever do... So my first art piece way back in kindergarten, I still remember this. Did you ever do the marble paint thing? Dipped your marbles in paint just to have it roll around the paper?
Never did that.
Yeah, did you do that? Oh, she got kicked out. We'll wait in just a second here. Looks like her internet connection got wonky. So anyway, this is my Tuesday motivation. And I needed this for today because I realized that no matter how bad things seem, just keep going. Because darkness passes, shadows pass, all that other wonderful fun stuff. Oh, Joe, honestly, Jerry Maguire. So Joe says, I thought you might be going full Jerry Maguire there when you said I thought you were going to say a cynical world, and I chuckled and amused myself. You know what? Honestly, Joe, like cynicism's the one thing that's useless to me. Hold on a second here. She's back.
Back.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Do. Eminem fancy. There you go. Right. So, what I was gonna say there before you disappeared. Right. That's my motivation. Tell your story. Do the marble paint thing. Treat your first draft like, you know what? It doesn't matter if it sucks. I'm editing this thing anyway. Right? So, hey, don't mock me, Joe. I'm gonna challenge you. Rap battle. Next time in person, we're going on. I will do my very.
Oh my god, I want to see that. Record it.
Yeah. You're on, Joe. Right? We'll get down. I will do the most terrible Linkin Park ever. I promise. I will wreck you. Let's do. So I probably just signed up myself to get an ass kicking. I hope you realize that.
I want to see. I need to see it.
Okay. So you're not the only one. You're not the only one. It's like, wait, he do that? It's like, yeah, I'd do it. Like, no problem. Well, see, I mean, embarrassing myself, I'm totally for that. Like, if I ever win another Aurora Award, I have to show up and get my award in a tutu.
Oh, God, do it.
I have to win it first, right? But yeah, no, it's like, yes, do it. I'm so in. I'm in. See, like I said, again, that lack of fear of being bad or embarrassed or whatever gives you the freedom to do everything. So I guess here's my big question to you. And maybe I'm going to attack your little OCD. I'm picking on your OCD. I hope you don't mind.
It's fine.
So here's the thing. Is your OCD that desire for perfection? Or because you're just entering into the writing world, there's maybe a little bit of that imposter going, who the hell am I to come out here and say my shit? And which one is it?
In my head or not? Oh my god. Well, no, the OCD thing has always been there, but it's been more profound in the past couple of years since I've taken it seriously. And I guess, I don't know, like I was saying earlier, with the past couple weeks, I've been battling writer's block. A lot of it has had to do with imposter syndrome, and I'm so over it at this point in my life. Like, every morning I get on my laptop and I'm about to write, and I'm like, no one cares what I have to say. Like, what am I doing? You know? But it could be both, I think.
Would you like, so when this show got nominated for an award way back in the day, first time, I had my own little bit of imposter syndrome. It's like, how did I get here? What did I do? And then I realized something very, very important. Fear of failure and fear of success are two sides of the same coin. It's a fear of change. Right? You're like,
you need to get out of my head right now.
I'm sorry, but it sounds like you need someone to have this little chat with you. It's a fear of change. You don't fear failure. I get the feeling in your particular case, I'm not going to say you came from necessarily a quote unquote rough life, but I don't feel like you're afraid to lose. Exactly. I don't get that vibe from you. I get the vibe of, you know what? If someone dared you to do something, you would just say, well, fuck you. I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong. I think you've got that little chip on your shoulder. So fear of failure is not your thing. Fear of success might be your thing. And here's the thing about fear of success. See, we've all fallen off that bicycle. We've all slipped and fell on the ice. Well, you were in Jamaica, so you didn't. But you know, the first time you try to stay afloat in the water, you just keep going. You just tumble down. It's like, why am I sinking? Right? Right. So you've been through all that. You know what that feels like. It sucks, especially when you put everything you got into it. Sometimes it sucks. But I feel like in that case, you're strong enough to get back up and try again. But when you're successful, you did something. And suddenly it has changed. Holy shit, I did it. Now what? Right? And that's the thing, right? Right? That's the thing. That's the thing, right? That's scary because it's not a familiar space. It's a changing space. You have suddenly proven to yourself once that you can do it, which makes the second time daunting because you're like, well, what if it doesn't do the same thing last time? Will I make the same money? Will I get the same sales? Will people still give a shit? Oh my God, what am I doing?
You were in my head, and I did not sign up for this.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, but you're right. Like, that's exactly what's been going on in my mind. So
yeah. So this goes back to something I said earlier. It's about controlling your controllables, especially when you can. And every time you go out there, you're going to take a risk and a success. The nature of the writing business today is your books, whatever you choose to write about, are going to be your brand. And you have to accept the fact that there's going to be highs and lows with every book you do. Now, if sales are the only measurement, I can't guarantee you that the next book is going to be the same as your current book. There's no way to know for sure. Right? If that's your measuring stick, there's nothing I can say to you. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to take chances and you're going to have to hope and you got to, again, do everything you know how to do. But if your goal is to tell the best stories you can, to work on your craft and to get better and get more people out there, then yeah, you're going to have to keep telling those stories and taking those chances and taking those risks. And you're going to have to be okay that this story is not the same as the last story and that you start a whole new level of expectations. Now, again, that doesn't mean you can't try new things. I don't know. Did you do it indie or traditional published this time?
I'm doing indie.
Okay, you're doing indie, right? So here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing about the indie publishing industry. You can pivot. You can change directions. You can try new things. And as you evolve, you will. You have that freedom to constantly reinvent yourself in the indie world. So on one hand, you're still going to be, now here's the thing. No matter how successful you're going to get, you're still going to fall. You're still going to hit your ass on the ground from falling off the bicycle every so often. It's just the way it is. But at the same time, you've achieved a wonderful thing already, and you will do more. And let yourself do more. Do not get in your own way. Figure out what got you here. Why did you get this? Because you showed up and did the work. What can get in your way? Well, possibly my stupid OCD, my imposter syndrome. So how do I deal with those things? So with your imposter syndrome, you intimidate it with fear, Homer Simpson style. Like, shut up, brain. Right. You find ways to laugh about it because those fears are perfectly human. They're perfectly human, and they're healthy to have, but they're not healthy if they control you. So that's the thing, right? And for me, how I dealt with it is, okay, I have an obnoxious big mouth, as you can tell. How did I get here? My obnoxious big mouth. What can get in my way? My obnoxious big mouth. Focus on my strengths. Don't worry about my weaknesses. Try to hide my weaknesses, if that is the case, right? And get better and keep doing more shows, keep expanding, keep growing. Find audiences, take over the world, possibly have my own flag. Take myself, right. But that's it, right? Don't give yourself an excuse not to try. And as long as you don't give yourself that excuse, I can't promise you it'll work the same way, but it will work. Deal?
I think that really helped me actually.
Yeah. No,
That's great.
yeah. I'm sorry I was your therapist for the last 20 minutes.
As long as I don't have to pay you, I'm fine.
Well, now we'll clean that up now. I just, as someone who's recognized that you've done an incredible thing. Don't ever think it's not. Just recognize the treasure that you did there, and keep going. And again, those fears are perfectly natural and reasonable, and let yourself feel them just a touch. It's okay to be scared. It's okay. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there you go. So going back to you, right? Yeah, just recognize those things, and you will find that you'll keep going forward, because that's the real struggle each and every day.
Gave me a lot to think about and a lot
Yeah.
of little gems.
Yes.
Get me through my next book.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you finish your next book, let me know. I'll read it. I'll see if my little gems stick where they've stuck.
Oh my god, deal.
Deal. Done. So tell me about your first book. So where it came about.
So my first book is To Fight Fire with Sun, and it's a poetry chapbook. It actually, I've been writing it all throughout the years from high school and everything. But I actually sat down and wrote it after my best friend passed away in Jamaica, and I kind of just said, I needed to go process some emotions, and that's how I do my whole processing thing. I think a lot of us, our artists and creators, do it like that. So I booked a flight to Jamaica for 2 weeks, and I sat down in my parents' apartment, and I just wrote everything out for those 2 weeks, and that's how To Fight Fire with Sun was born.
Sounded like she was a good friend.
He was he was a really amazing friend of mine.
Well, and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but at the same time, yeah, like friends like that are truly rare. So I'm glad you got to meet one really good one like that at least.
Yeah.
Right. So that's great. So that was the turning point. So is this a novel? What you're writing now?
The one, it's kind of like a mixture of poetry and prose.
I'm doing something like that right now.
Nice.
Yeah, so I do. I'll talk about the end of the book. When I wrap up the show. So I mixed up Alice in Wonderland and Greek mythology, and I made Alice Pandora.
Oh my god, two of my favorite things.
Yeah, no, it works. It works quite well. Like I'll give you the promo link there if you want to check it out. You can check it out. It's yeah. So, but it's so I'll let you in on a secret. So I'm secretly going to be turning the book into more and more of a Lewis Carroll style thing as time goes on. Because the story here is Alice opens Pandora's box and gets a certain Cheshire friend inside her head. And she doesn't know who she is or how she got there. And so every time she gets a piece of the Kingdom of Wonderland back, she remembers something. Right.
That sounds really good. Oh my god, I want to read it right now.
Yeah, it's like so yeah, I kind of dabble with it, like prose and poetry. Like we live in a very interesting age in the sense that, okay, so my reading stuff for fun. I'm a comic book nerd. I'm still a big giant comic book nerd, but I love Japanese light novels. I love video games. I love anything that merges different styles of storytelling into one cohesive thing, right?
That's
because
exactly what I love to.
Yeah, because it's great stuff, right? Like you can tell a story so many different ways now. I don't think I do feel, even we're about 10 years into this revolution, and I still feel we're just scratching the surface of the things we can do. I'm hoping by the time I next release, I actually release the board game component that comes with this, because I also thought I had to make that part of the story too. Why limit yourself?
Board game? Oh my god.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Well, why not, right?
Mhm.
Like again. So okay. Here's the thing. I love. Okay, so games I loved as a kid. I still love. I'm a big Magic the Gathering guy.
Mhm.
Love that game. Cool thing about that game is you have these cards in terms
Oh, I'm a
of
newbie.
what
I'm a
you.
newbie in Magic the Gathering.
Oh, you just started playing.
I'm learning.
Okay. So the thing about that game is the best sets. Because I'm going to
Sorry,
warn
that's
you
a
up
baby.
front. I'm going to warn you up front.
Mhm.
Some sets suck. Some
Mm.
sets were awesome. I was very fortunate that I actually got to play. It was like, so my favorite 3 sets of all time are the original Ravnica set,
Mhm.
the original Zendikar set,
Mhm.
and the original Innistrad set.
Mhm.
Right? All those sets are awesome. Anyone that ever plays those will tell you those cards about those sets ruled. Right? I
Mhm.
wasn't so crazy about Mirrodin because the game was boring as fuck to play when Mirrodin was around.
Mhm.
I wasn't a fan. They tried a steampunk set. You think they did it well, but they created like a
Mhm.
new Mirrodin when they did that. It was like, oh, why did you do this twice? Right? Right? So, but they try cool things. But when Magic's at its best, this is my point, is when the game feels like you're interacting with each other in really cool ways,
Mhm.
but you're also telling a story,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So Innistrad right now, I think there's an Innistrad set in current standard right now. But
Mhm.
like they're the ones that came out with 2-sided cards originally. And the idea was there'd be like a normal side and a monstrous side to these cards. Well, that's a really cool like horror trope, right? It's just an amazing like horror, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and there are
Mhm.
conditions where you can trigger like it feels awesome when you do that, right? It just feels great when you create those moments because that's what makes the game fun. The game's not like I was competitive once upon a time, but
Mhm.
really my favorite stuff to do was build these really cool decks to screw with other players' heads. That's what I did, right? Right, because that was fun. I like there's enough cards in Magic's history for like a gambling deck. I built a
Mhm.
gambling deck, flipping coins just decides the game, right?
Oh
Real
my god.
players, like real professionals, hate it because it's dumb luck. But on the other hand, right, but it's just a silly way to play the game.
Mhm.
And I love that, right? And that's why I did. So great games can tell stories. And Magic's great at that. But video games, oh my god, I don't know. Do you play any video games?
I just got into the Oculus Quest. I'm playing this Walking Dead game right now. It's like scaring the shit out of me, but I love it.
Yeah, everybody. There's a whole genre of people just playing games to get scared to death these days. It's kind of that's really like I don't understand it, but that's a thing. But no, the issue is right. Good video. Like I'm a big JRPG guy. If you
Mhm.
notice the Japanese anime, yes,
Mhm.
I'm one of those guys from way back in the day, back when the anime was crap. I
Mhm.
was one of those guys. I'm good with that. I own my shit. But here's the thing, right? The 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 games are so you can tell so many intrinsic stories combining storytelling with interactivity.
Mhm.
And I figured out something very important. I interviewed a video game company people. It was like, interaction's the true storytelling language of games.
Mhm.
And once I realized that, I was like, I had like this like moment of like, oh my God,
Uh-huh.
okay, I think I can tell a story that's both right. I don't even want to do movies. I'm being blunt. It's not that I think movies aren't awesome,
Mhm.
but I want to do video games. Screw movies. I can do more with video games. Because not only can I tell a story that makes you feel and care,
Mhm.
I can create all kinds of cool sensations and experiences with players with how they interact with the game you play, right? And that's like because again, so that's why I want to go in that direction.
Mhm.
It's way more interesting to me to watching somebody go to a movie, right? I mean, don't
It's
get
a
me
neat
wrong.
idea.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
like
just
it.
this is just how I think, right? Now
Mhm.
you will figure out what works for you. But since you're already dabbling,
Mhm.
so in all these different mediums, what have you enjoyed so far? Poetry, prose, do you draw? Do you do anything else, or?
I don't draw. I really want to get into painting, actually. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I think I'm leaning more towards the whole prose side of things. I do love poetry and all, and it's something that I've always written. But I eventually want to get into YA fiction. I do love YA fiction.
I
um,
love YA fiction too.
mhm.
It's my favorite genre to read.
Me
Not,
too.
yeah. I'm a big sucker and stickler for. Currently, Marissa Mayer is someone
Mhm.
I really enjoy. I have her superhero trilogy
Uh-huh.
here because it's just like, yeah, it's Marissa Mayer, right? I got a few other ones on my to read. Magania, I've had it for a while. I got like Hunted by the Sky.
Mhm.
I have Hollow City right now on my to be read list. The cool thing about young adult fiction is it's almost like, to me, it's almost like they can be experimental in that
Mhm.
genre. You can try different things, do
Yeah,
different things,
that's what I
right?
love about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the boldest voices in fiction are like in traditional publishing, especially, are in young adult. It's not even close,
Mhm.
right? The rest of them,
Yeah.
meh. Now that doesn't mean, again, there isn't good. Not to say there isn't good adult fiction out there, but I'm gonna be perfectly blunt. The indie stuff is much more interesting
Yeah.
than by and large. There are exceptions, of course, there always
Mhm.
are, but yeah, at this particular point in time, you can see it like good writing's good writing anywhere, but there are some places where it's like traditional YA is still probably like the best stuff
Mhm.
in traditional publishing right now. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's like it's the best stuff. That's right. I don't
Mhm.
care if I feel like I'm still 12 years old.
That's the best part, though. I love
Yeah.
that little childhood feeling.
Yeah. So which was your favorite YA series?
I love. I still don't know how to pronounce it because we say it differently in Jamaica. But Scythe, is that how you say it? By Neil Shusterman or Scythe?
Scythe? It's Scythe.
Scythe. We say Scythe.
Scythe.
Just Scythe.
Yeah, Scythe. Yeah.
I love that series. Like, it's amazing. Have you read it
Ah,
yet?
I have not read that one. The
You need to
one,
read it.
so yeah, I will. The one my favorite ones are. I'm still a Harry Potter guy, and so anyway, every say J.K. Rowling, Potter was amazingly well written.
Mhm.
So like Harry Potter, I look at. I'm enjoying Brandon Sanderson stuff. From a classical stuff, I think Tamara Pierce doesn't get the love she deserves. Diane Duane's really good, doesn't get the love she deserves. Um, I like classically, I'm still a big fan of A Wrinkle in Time and C.S. Lewis's
Mhm.
stuff. But from the more modern stuff, I'm enjoying they're going into more like Eastern Arabic mythology stuff right
Mhm.
now in young adult, and I'm enjoying that. It's a different voice and a different flavor than what's been there for a bit. Obviously, the classic tropes like Sarah J. Maas is really
Mhm.
good. I really enjoy her.
You know, I don't think
Victoria
I've ever
A.
read anything by Sarah J. Maas.
She's the closest thing to epic fantasy, like pure epic
Okay.
fantasy in YA. She's very like some of the YA tropes from like
Mhm.
Twilight and like Hunger Games are in there, but not the sparkly vampires. I swear to God, there are no
Okay.
sparkly.
All right. Good.
Yeah, but female heroine is like the female heroine is more than
Okay.
she appears. That whole formula is
Good.
still there, big time. It's so Sarah J. Maas, Victoria Aveyard.
I
But
love
like I said, I think Marissa Mayer does some really. I love her retelling of
Mhm.
like Cinderella as a robot was awesome.
Oh, I haven't read that yet. I need Cinder, right? Mhm.
Yeah,
I need to go read that.
that's an amazing concept. Like just an amazing one. So, I'm not always for the top. Oh, these are the new wonderful superstars.
Mhm.
I like people that are established in. So in regular fiction right now, I'm actually finishing a friend of mine's book, Jennifer Lieberman's Year of the What. It's a change of pace, and then I'm going to be
Mhm.
going into probably Renegades, and then I'll be reading one either Hollow City or J.E. Taylor's book,
Mhm.
another friend of mine, and it's just go through it. I got a book coming in sometime today called Journey of the Shadow by a buddy by the name of Stone Abdullah. He's really, really cool. So yeah, it's just yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm a fucking nerd.
Me too. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm reading the. Have you read anything by Daniel L. Jensen?
I know the name. Give me your book title.
I've only ever read her Bridge Kingdom series. So I read the first 2 and I'm on the 3rd one right now, but it's so good.
Okay. I have heard of her. I have not read her. Is it good?
Oh my god, it's so good. I've been telling everybody you need to read this. Go read the Bridge Kingdom series. It's so
okay. Good. You've convinced me. Or something to that effect anyway. You've convinced me or something. No, it's cool. But yeah, so YA is your goal then. So is is the second book like a YA novel?
No, it's a lot of like personal essays kind of thing, a lot of poetry, some short stories. That's about it. But it's very just standard fiction.
There's nothing wrong with being standard fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I do have a YA book that I've been working on since I was 16, but it's sitting there on the hard drive. I'll get to it when I get to it.
You feel you're ready for it?
I think I will be later this year. Soon.
You're at the point where you're going to take the leap.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think I'm getting up, like I'm building up to it. I feel it coming.
So it sounds to me you need to get this book out of the way then. So you get there.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry if I come across very preachy. If I do, just let me know. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. No. But it sounds like. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna ask the big question. What was the book you read that made you say, "I want to do this"?
1,000 Splendid Suns.
Ooh,
yeah, that one was. I think that's the only book I've ever reread. Like I think I've read it like 3, 4, 5 times, and I just said like how he made me feel like just writing and reading this book is exactly like I want to do that one day with someone else. Even if it's one person, I just want them to just feel the things that I got, while writing it. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's totally understandable. So then I'm going to ask one big final question, and then I think we call it an interview because I feel like I kind of rocked your world a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know who I am anymore.
I don't know. But I will say this before we my final question. When I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did too, and you're welcome to come back anytime you like.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah. So, I guess my last question is: so, what's your goal? Do you want to do this for a living? Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Yes. Ever since I knew about books, I've wanted to live the creative lifestyle.
Well then, I wish you nothing but the best. So, are you ready to do the wonderful promo stuff? All the wonderful promo stuff we do at the end of all these interviews where people can find you and stuff like that?
Yes. Right.
All right. Give me all that stuff.
Alrighty. So you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at DAAndrews_. And you can find me on Facebook at author DA Andrews.
Okay. What's your book called?
My first book is To Fight Fire with Sun, and my second book, you'll get the nice little book cover reveal soon.
Where can we find it?
On Instagram is where I will publish everything, and that's at DAAndrews on Instagram.
Okay, so we'll do the Instagram. So okay.
DAAndrews_. Same thing.
Okay. Almost there. I'm sorry. I'm trained professional. Trained professional. I swear. This is the one you want to go to, ladies and gentlemen, for all information. So people want to get the book and stuff, go there, say hi to DA. She rocks and or rolls. Right. So that all said. All right, a second here, guys. I should be much better prepared than I am, but it is just me.
It's just life.
It's just life. I swear one of these days. So, and this is what you'll be interested in too, I'm certain. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming here today. All of you that showed up. This is my latest book release.
Yes.
Yes. Go on Amazon. It's exclusively. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. She's looking at it for the first time. She's like, woo!
I can't wait.
So here's the story. This book 2 of the series. The first one's Alice. So I'll give you both. Alice 0. Alice opens Pandora's box. Gets a certain Cheshire grin in her head. And she wakes up in an insane asylum where the playing cards are her jailers. That's Alice 0. It's the short one of the bunch, right? Then there's Alice 1. Alice, without spoiling too much, Alice escapes, chases the Queen of Hearts over the edge of the world, and she ends up in the Greek underworld, where to escape, she must play Jason of the Argonauts a game of croquet. In this Greek underworld, Alice and company encounter gods, monsters, and the most terrifying thing of all, themselves. Written by yours truly, illustrated by Kenzie Carr. Available now. I swear.
I can't wait.
I think I sold a book today, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, I want to thank D.A. Andrews, Davia Andrews. I got that right. I hope you guys got that right. Yeah. Don't want you to beat me. We had such a good conversation. I want her mad at me at the end. It's not Davia. It's not Davia. Squeeze life out of me. That all said, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Tomorrow, I have a really great chat with the one and only V.S. Holmes at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be a wild conversation, a wild chat. To everybody watching, everybody listening, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.